Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about how to understand your financial aid award letter and the various parts of it. When choosing the right college for you, finances are typically going to be a big factor in deciding which college is going to be the one that you attend. Many of you have applied to multiple colleges and now you're going to be getting multiple financial aid awards. The best way to compare all of these different schools and the financial aid they offer is to make a big spreadsheet of them and compare the awards side by side. This will tell you which school is going to be the most affordable option for you. And if you're interested in making one of those spreadsheets, there's a link for it down below. But before we get into making that spreadsheet, let's first go over the different pieces of your financial aid award letter. An important thing to keep in mind about financial aid award letters is that a lot of them have different formats to them. It could look like this, 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 it could look like this. But you got to keep in mind, each award letter might look differently, but it's all going to include the same different parts, just maybe in different locations. The first thing you want to look for is the total cost of the school. Now this will include tuition, room and board, transportation, and maybe some other miscellaneous fees. Now you should also be able to find the total amount of financial aid that you're going to receive. If you subtract the total amount of financial aid that you're going to get from the total cost of the school, that's going to show you how much unmet need you have, and that means money that isn't being covered by financial aid towards the cost of your school. I'll talk some more about ways you can pay this section later on in the video. In the general area of where you saw your total financial aid award, you'll see a list of the different components of your financial aid award. And we're going to go into more detail now on what each of those parts means. Overall, there are three main chunks of your financial aid award, and that is the free money, loans, and then your work study that you might have. We're going to talk about each of those now. First, free money. Free money is great because it means you don't have to pay it back. That is a big plus because you could get a lot of financial aid money that you won't have to give that money back in the long term. This free money typically comes in the form of grants and scholarships. And these grants and scholarships can come from the college itself, but it could also come from the federal and state governments. From the Pennsylvania state government, we have what's called the FIA grant. Now, the important thing to keep in mind with the FIA grant is that it is mainly for in-state use, and there are only a select number of states that your FIA grant can go to if you go outside of Pennsylvania. From the federal government, you have what's called the Pell Grant, and there is also another grant called the SEOG, which you may also see on your award letter. And the important thing to note about the Pell Grant and then subsequently the FIA grant is that you will have had to have completed the FAFSA in order to be eligible to receive these grants. So if you haven't yet done your FAFSA, please do so now. And if you're not sure how to do it, check out these different videos about completing your FAFSA. If you're receiving a grant or a scholarship from the school itself, this could either be taken in the form of a merit aid, which means it's based off of grades and academics from high school, maybe even some test scores, or it could be need-based aid. And what that means is that the results of your FAFSA were taken in by the college, and then they took your expected family contribution, your EFC, and determined what your family's financial need was. So this now takes us on to our second section, loans. If you're receiving loans, this means that this is money that you will have to pay back, as opposed to your free grants and scholarships, which is money that you don't pay back. On your award letter, there might be a couple different loans that you could see. The first two loans you may see would be the federal subsidized loan or the federal unsubsidized loan. And the big difference between the two of these is that for the subsidized loan, interest does not grow while you're in college, whereas on the unsubsidized loan, your interest will grow while you're in college. So if you have one of those loans, it might behoove you to pay interest while you're in college just so that way you're not overwhelmed with the amount of interest you'll have once you graduate. These two loans are also dependent on you completing the FAFSA, which is another reason if you haven't yet completed it that you should do so now. If you still need to complete your FAFSA, go to fafsa.gov in order to complete your application. Another loan that you might see is the Perkins Loan. Now this is a good loan for now, but in 2 years the loan will actually be stopping. So you could receive this as part of your aid package for the first 2 years, but afterwards it might be something different. The last loan you might see might not even be included as part of your award, and that's called the Parent Plus Loan. The big difference between the Parent Plus Loan and other loans we've already talked about is that you can take the Parent Plus Loan and it can be used to cover any remaining cost or gap between how much financial aid you're receiving and the total cost of the school. Now this loan is in the name of your parents, so your parents will have to apply for it, and it is based on credit score. If your parents are not eligible to receive the Parent Plus Loan, they will actually then receive more unsubsidized loan money for your financial aid award. If you have questions about if you're eligible for a Parent Plus loan, talk to your financial aid office at the different colleges that you're looking to attend, and they'll be able to answer that question for you. Alright, now that we covered the two big chunks of your financial aid award letter, let's talk about that other little piece, the work study. So there are some misconceptions on how work study actually works, no pun intended. The best way to think about work study is to think of it as spending money, not as money going towards paying your tuition or other financial aspects of college. Well, it is possible that you can arrange for part of your paycheck to go towards paying towards tuition or other aspects of college. Most of the time, that money is just going to be coming straight to you. Since your primary role in college is to be a student, you're probably not going to be working a whole ton if you do have a job on campus. So the paychecks aren't going to be anything huge, which is why this is more spending money for you. You can use it to get dinner with some friends, you can get some books, Netflix if you really want to pay for that, unless you're using someone else's account. It can be used for all of these things or anything else that you really need it for. In general though, think of it as your own spending money, not money going towards paying for your college. If you do have a gap between how much money you see for your financial aid award and how much money the cost of the school is, there's a couple different ways you can go about paying this extra money. First of all, if it's not a huge amount, you could try paying it out of pocket. And a lot of schools have payment plans that you can use, which means you can pay in installments instead of paying one large lump sum. A second option is that you can get a Parent Plus loan to help cover that last remaining cost. And the third option is that you can get an outside private loan. When you're looking at private loans, do make sure you're finding the one that's best for you, as these loans will have higher interest rates. So while it may help you cover that extra amount, it's going to end up you having to pay back more than you would if it was a federal loan. So keep that in mind as you're looking around for loans. A very important part of your financial aid award letter. If anywhere it says estimated on it, that means there might be something missing at the financial aid office and they won't be able to make your financial aid award official until they receive those documents. Be sure to read through your entire financial aid award letter to see what documents you may be missing if it does have that estimated indicator somewhere on it. Even if it doesn't say estimated, you should still be reading over your entire award letter to make sure you're not missing any important information. And of course, if you have any questions about understanding your financial aid award letter, feel free to send an email to pagoestocollege@gmail.com. You can also get in touch with your financial aid officer at your different financial aid offices for the different colleges you've applied to. Or you can even go and talk to your counselor or college advisor and see if they can help you understand your financial aid award letter. Alright everyone, I'll see you next time.